Hi, and welcome to our Culture of Care conversation. As we're preparing for the upcoming Youth Protection Week next week, October 5th through the 9th, and National Bullying Prevention Month, we wanted to provide information to our members about why these topics are so critically important to not only Kiwanis International and Key Club, but to really students and parents and advisors around the globe. We have new resources in youth protection area, and we want to talk about those resources and how to create a stronger culture of care throughout our communities. Today, we are thrilled to have with us Key Club International Vice President Caroline Bushnell, International Trustee Glory Kalu, and we're so happy to have back with us one of our favorite speakers and facilitators, Burton Patterson. Let's take a few minutes for each of you to introduce yourselves before we get started on our question and answer.
Hi, everybody. My name is Caroline Bushnell. I'm the current Key Club International Vice President. I am a senior from a small town smack dab in the middle of Colorado, and I'm so excited to be here today to talk a little bit more about culture of care.
Hi, everyone. My name is Glory Kalu. I am an international trustee. I am a senior at Bloomfield High School, and I am especially excited to be here today.
Hi, everyone. So excited to be back with you all. Thank you for the kind intro, Michelle. My name is Burton Patterson. I am the Director of Prevention and Education at Indiana Coalition to End Sexual Assault and Human Trafficking. And I'm super excited to be a part of this conversation and talk more about what culture of care means for the bigger picture. Thank you for having me.
And thank you, everyone, for spending time on this critically important conversation. So today, we're going to turn all the questions over to our students. Caroline and Glory, you guys are going to lead us off. But before we get too far down into this, I want to mention one very important resource that we're so proud that we were able to introduce earlier this year, and that is we now have a toll-free helpline that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can just call 1-866-607-SAFE. Again, that's 1-866-676-SAFE or 7233. Anytime that you wish to report a situation, an incident, or anything that makes you feel uncomfortable regarding youth protection and any sort of situation that you've been in. It can be in the moment, it can be after the fact, and you can remain anonymous. It is a confidential helpline. So again, 1-866-607-SAFE. All right, let's get started with our questions. And Caroline, you're up first.
Of course. So, Burton, you've now presented at 2 Key Club International conventions, and you work every day with students on these important topics. What's the one thing that you want students to know about creating a culture of care?
That is a very good question. I think if I had to narrow it down to one thing, I would want students to know is that it's a process. You know, it takes time, it takes patience, and also it takes repetition. I think a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this quite a bit as well, we want to see results pretty quickly. And when you're talking about changing an entire culture, establishing a culture, whether that be attitude or belief change, behavior change, or on a larger scale, cultural change, it takes time. So stay persistent in your pursuit of wanting to establish this culture of care, this culture of kindness and empathy, and show that that folks are truly cared for.
All right, and Glory, you can jump in with the next question.
Yeah, so Burton, as student leaders around the globe, we have many members that want to help create a better culture in their schools and communities when it comes to awareness about healthy relationships, how to be an upstander, and more. What are some safe ways that our students can stand up and help be agents of change in their community?
Wow, you all really do have some great questions. There are so many things that students can do to be upstanders and to help create that better culture. If I had to point to one of the most important things, in my opinion, it's being aware of the community resources available to you. As Michelle mentioned, with the safety hotline, that is a very valuable resource, a resource that if you need it, you should absolutely reach out to it. But it's important that we are able to understand and identify situations as well. Situations that we're equipped to handle, but also situations where we may need more professional help, or we need to seek advisement. It's important to know the difference between those two situations when we're talking about our safety and the safety of other people. And that's why knowing our available resources is so important.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a great point. Now that we've kind of learned about what students can do to be an upstander, what is the number one thing that schools and communities can do to make a safe space for students?
I really love that question. It's a conversation that I've been having with a lot of folks over the past several months as we deal with everything that's going on in our country and in our world. I think one thing that schools and communities can do to make those safer spaces for students is first ask them what they need to feel safe. I always start with that, ask them what they need, and then listen. And I mean, truly listen to what they have to say. And once you hear what they have to say, I think many people will be surprised, because today's generation of students are so passionate and driven and very socially conscious. There's a very good chance that they know what safety looks like for them and what those spaces should ultimately look like. So I would say listen to them and trust them when it comes to their safety and their comfortability.
Yeah, that's like a really good point. So I guess as a final question, one goal of the Culture of Care work is to empower and train students to take this knowledge and become agents of change in their community. We had intensive training online this summer and now a facilitator's guide to help us. But Burton, what is your advice to students who are just beginning to find their voice and starting to lead conversations on creating a culture of care in their communities?
That's a great question as well. I love talking to this population of emerging leaders who are just finding their voices, because it's such an important time to sort of engage in that conversation. And I guess my advice would be just to lean into the vulnerability. As a facilitator, you are in front of people, but you're not always going to have the answers, and that's okay. No one always has the answers. Sort of lean into that vulnerability. Don't be afraid of sort of those teachable moments when you're struggling with something, and those learning moments as well. I always say the most important thing for me as a facilitator is to be my genuine and authentic self, because folks can connect to that. You can build rapport through that, because every day we're continuing to learn more about ourselves, and part of creating a culture of care is that self-reflection piece. And that self-reflection piece can be difficult at times, but as an emerging leader, as someone who is just finding their voice, try to find those moments of self-reflection as growth, in moments where you're like, okay, I may not feel comfortable with this next activity, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to lean into it. And then I'm going to let folks know, like, this is something I'm doing for the first time. I'm asking for feedback. Is there any way that I can improve on this next time? That feedback component is important as well.
Excellent. Now, before we wrap up, Caroline or Glory, did you have any additional questions you wanted to ask today?
I mean, I really just want to know what your favorite part of this work is. You're so involved in students and in student activities. So like, what brought you here? What makes you passionate about this group of people?
I think what makes me passionate, what really keeps me going, is hope. I have so much hope in this generation, because this generation is our future, our leaders, our decision makers, and the path that this generation is headed on right now is such a critical point, because, like I said, they're socially conscious, very driven, very passionate, and for me, that makes me strive to want to do more for you all, to put you in that position, to lead us, to put us in a good position as a nation and as a world.
Thank you. Glory, did you have any other questions you thought we should ask?
Me personally, I don't have any other questions. I've just truly been inspired by this talk, and honestly, I have learned a lot, and I'm willing to take this information moving forward and share with others.
Awesome. Well, we're just getting started when it comes to a culture of care. We rolled out some initial training last year at the 2019 ICON. We had training again this year in 2020. We're going to continue the conversation, continue the resources, and with over 200,000 students around the globe, we do make an impact. We are making an impact. And when we take this on, we'll make an impact in this as well. So I just thank you all so much for your leadership on this. And Glory and Caroline, again, thank you for leading the conversation today. We know that 2020 has been unique and has thrown us all some curveballs. So if we would have tried this 6 months ago, who knows what it would have looked like. But today we all have like a production studio in our home now, thanks to technology and laptops. So with so much stress and uncertainty, this conversation on how to stand up for ourselves, stand up for others, and to lean in to build a better community is really needed. And Burton, you've been with us on this journey now for almost 2 years. As we build this culture of care from just a little nugget of an idea into a full program. And you're really part of the Kiwanis family now. So we're so happy to see you again and to be part of this. All right, Glory, Caroline, any sort of parting insights and what's coming up at Key Club International this fall?
Well, we do have one big thing, Michelle. Key Club International is excited to announce that this year on October 24th, we're having our first ever global engagement rally. If you've ever gone to a fall rally, it's similar to that, but we're doing it internationally. So make sure you're checking your email, stay up to date on that, and we're so excited to see everybody there.
All right, again, thank you so much, Key Club. We are thrilled that you are members and leaders in our communities. Keep learning, keep leading and serving. We have some fun media kits coming up in November and December, so stay tuned for more information. Check your inbox and social media.